Zverev in his fourth United Cup, second appearance for Griekspoor in this particular competition. Here they come.
Ken Rosewell Arena tennis fans, please welcome to the court from the Netherlands, Tallon Griekspoor. And their opponent for today's match. Can you please welcome, representing Team Germany, Alexander Zverev.
Sasha alongside his dad. This was a part of the season last year, of course, where he debuted a new racket in terms of trying to find a little extra pace, a little bit of extra power. It served him well in Melbourne, where he got through to that final, lost, of course, to Jannik Sinner in that particular one. Then went down to South America. Things didn't work out quite as well for him. Wanted to test the racket early on the red clay of South America ahead of the next major at Roland Garros. And then a number of different injuries across the season, particularly with the back and the ankle for Sasha, proved a little problematic in what ended up being a good season by anyone else's standards, but probably by his own high standards, not quite what he would have wanted. But it is a new year and a fresh reset for Zverev. As for Tallon, he won't mind these conditions. Managed to outlast Jannik Sinner in Shanghai in what was some brutal heat and humidity there, where the Italian eventually had to retire midway through that third set in his contest with Griekspoor. That is one of his two top 5 wins. And the other one, of course, as I say, that battle in the desert in Palm Springs with Sasha.
Hello, Sasha, this is Ash. She'll do the contest. Hello, how are you? All right, guys, so for the match, 3 tiebreak sets, 6 ball, 7-9 ball change. We have net machine. 25 seconds between points, they start automatically. For your towels, there are the boxes with your country. On this side, you need to go get them yourselves, but on that side, there are runners with boxes. On that side, there are runners for the towels, okay? If you want, but not on this side, okay? Any questions before we start? Okay, Ash, who's gonna call? So AO is heads. Tallon, it's for you. Receive. Receive. You stay. Okay, some photos over there.
Certainly seen a lot of this court already this year. Zverev, this may well be his first competitive match out on the main court, but he has been practicing twice a day and late into the evening, which is his want. He is not one that is going to shy away from hard work to try and find the solutions to some of the issues that he has in terms of trying to catch certainly the big two with Alcaraz and Sinner. As we take a look at the 29-year-old from Holland. 3 titles to his name. That was a big highlight for him on the grass courts of Mallorca. Won in Pune in 23 and Hertogenbosch on the grass, and he managed to go to the beautiful island of Mallorca and pick up a 3rd title there last season. Also pushed through to the furthest that he's been at a major at the French Open. Lost to Zverev, actually, unfortunately for him, got an abs strain in that particular match in the 4th round and had to withdraw. They've had a couple of matches in recent times where either Griekspoor hasn't been able to get on the court, has had to pull out. That was late last year in Vienna. They were supposed to square up again, and Griekspoor this time had a back problem and couldn't even take to the rectangle.
Okay.
And here he is, 28 years of age. Everyone pretty much knows everything about this man. His quest, the last quest really in his illustrious careers for a major title. 24 titles, picked up just one more last year at home in Munich. It doesn't get easier at 28 years of age for Sasha to be able to pick up a title. You look at the likes in the open era of Peter Korda, Andres Gomez, who managed to pick up titles in their sort of 30s. Andres Jimeno picked up the 72 French Open at 34 years of age. Different times then. Of course, Stan Wawrinka won his first ever Australian Open at 28 years of age. I'm sure Sasha can look at that and be certainly inspired, as well as Ivanisevic, I should say, at Wimbledon, who picked up his maiden title at 29 years of age. In terms of a matchup between two players that have met on numerous occasions, you can see here 8-2. Although it has to be said, that particular head-to-head could be a lot different. There have been some epic matches between these two in the past. Roland Garros back in 2024, Griekspoor led 4-1, double break in the final set. Really should have got it done in that one. Unfortunately couldn't. And of course in Munich, on the way to the title, Zverev managed to come back when Griekspoor was serving for the match in the second set. So there was also one there. But the last couple, as I say, Roland Garros and Vienna have ended in a retirement by Griekspoor and a walkover. But they both look fit and healthy heading into this one. Indian Wells, the one that Griekspoor picked up his only completed win against a top 5 player. He had 5 match points, Griekspoor, serving for it at 6-5 in the third before managing to get it done in a final set breaker. And in Shanghai back in 24, Sasha also needing a hatful of match points, 7, to be able to get it done in a final set breaker. So this has the potential to be epic. Slowly meandering our way towards the end of the warm-up. I'm delighted to say that one man that doesn't meander anywhere around here, the busiest man in tennis today, is Jim Courier.
Hello, Petch. Good to be alongside you and excited to see what Sasha Zverev and Tallon Griekspoor bring to this new season. 2026 is truly off and running in the tennis world as well as everywhere else. And you said it in the build-up here. Zverev has been here for quite some time, getting used to the conditions, getting his tennis game where it wants to be. My question is his body where it needs to be? Because that was certainly a talking point for him last year. One of the most durable players in men's tennis was unable to finish his time at the United Cup. Had some arm issues in that one, and then it was a back issue that really limited his enjoyment of the sport the second half of the season, but it didn't really stop his results. And that's the win predictor. Zverev is the favorite. That is expected. But with Griekspoor's serve, we could see some tiebreakers here.
He's been very open. I don't know if you've seen any of the interviews. He's done a number of interviews about playing Sasha because they have met so frequently. And he says, I'm going to be open here. He said, fact is, he said, I have to get out of my comfort zone. I like to play a certain way. I love to run around my backhand, hit inside out forehands. But against Sasha, that doesn't work. He's got one of the best backhands in the world. My way to play him is to direct all the traffic I can into the Zverev forehand. Simple. Hasn't been as effective as he would have liked in terms of wins, but he has pushed, as we've been saying, the German very close on a number of occasions.
Alexander Zverev representing Team Germany to serve. Play.
Stop.
Love 15.
Certainly warmer today than it has been in Sydney for the build-up to this match. So for Zverev, conditions, he was telling us, felt heavy and slow here. They won't feel quite that way today with the warmer air temperature, the ball's going to be traveling. And he flies that first one long to go love 15. And that one misses by quite some margin as well. It's one of those days where players might need to just uptick their string tension a little bit to get a bit more control with the ball flying in these types of conditions.
That's where it will help him. He'll have to try and force his serve, but yeah, came in here on the 2nd of Jan, was here till late at night, and this man was out here close to midnight hitting, and as you say, Jim, it was so cold at that particular time. It's going to feel like a different sport. What we will see is a reliable number of first serves coming in from this man.
Game, Team Germany. First game.
Good start there, and a good time to bring in our third member of the team, Andrea Petkovic, courtside. Petko, what are you seeing down there?
Well, it's very toasty down here, definitely more humid than it was the last few days, so that will certainly change the conditions. And this man right here, Alexander Zverev, I had the opportunity to chat to him, and he told me he's done a few changes to his game, but he didn't want to tell me what those are. So, Jim, I rely on you and Mark to tell me what he has evolved and changed in his game over the course of this match.
All right, we're under pressure.
We are under pressure.
Thank goodness.
It's interesting. I came and sat and watched him for a long time the other night. You know, he goes through a fairly sort of standard, predictable kind of practice session, Jim.
He's super regimented,
yes,
isn't he? He's a workhorse. That's one thing that Sasha Zverev has never shied away from, putting in the hard yards, doing the work both off and on the court.
Tallon Griekspoor representing Team Netherlands. To serve. Out. 15 love. Out. 30 love.
Had a tough start to 2024. Had a back injury actually ahead of the Australia Open. Also took his ankle braces off for the first time at the end of 24. He'd been playing with them for the majority of his career. Said it took him a couple of months to really get very comfortable not having that kind of support. Look at his numbers on his serve at the Australian Open. I don't think too many of them got over 180 Ks.
Out. 40 love.
So the off-season has been far more productive for him. Born in the Netherlands, but went over to Belgium to work with his coach, Christoph Vliegen, at 17 years of age. Vliegen, who's been a part, or was a part of Zizou Berg's setup until June of last year, former player.
Out. Game, Team Netherlands. One
solid hold there for Griekspoor. Vligen's been coaching quite a bit all over the place now, currently working with the American Alex Mickelson.
It's a pretty traditional sort of way through. His mum Monique was a tennis instructor, of course. Everyone knows that Sasha's dad played. Big thread of tennis in both of these two players' backgrounds. Jim, we talked about reliability around that first serve. We've just seen another one. It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's been leading the league in first serves made for several seasons now, has Zverev, and his average first serve speed's right around there. It's massive. He doesn't win as many points necessarily as some of his peer group because he doesn't try and pick the corners. There's a method to his madness. He chooses to hit to big targets so he can make that 72.5% first serves in play and not have to defend his second serve. But his doesn't hit that many aces considering how big he hits the serve. So he's made the choice, and it was really born out of the second serve challenges he had many years ago when he had the yips and was double faulting it relentlessly in matches. Perfect example. It's every player on the tour wins more points when they make first serves than when they have to hit second serves. And when you're as tall as he is, he's made the, I think, pretty obviously wise decision to not stress test his second serve much. If he tried to serve into the corners like Federer did, Federer was in the low 60s in his first serve percentage. He'd have a lower serve. He'd make more aces. Probably wouldn't hold as much. So off to a good start here.
So let's see why he hasn't been winning as many points. Let's take you back to AO last year. Obviously, it was a great run through to the final, but this just backs up what Jim's saying about not being able to hit your spots. Those are some pretty low numbers. High numbers are around 70% in general or above, and there's been some incredible serving. Novak would be up in that kind of bracket these days.
Yep.
That's low.
Yeah, it's very low, and it's intentional, right?
Yes.
That's why his first serve percentage is so high, because he doesn't take much risk. And when you're as tall as he is, too, his target zone to hit into the box is so much shallower, right? Like, look at how short he can hit in the box, these powerful serves. If you're a normal sized player, a Carlos Alcaraz sized player, you simply cannot hit with that much pace that short in the court. You have a much smaller target zone. So Zverev is, he's done the calculations, and there's a reason that he's been one of the top 5 players for quite some time, as we see him with his father.
Sasha just checking his levels. He's well aware now that the fact that he has diabetes 1 is an incredible testament to his willpower, discipline, sacrifice that he has done, and he's able to perform at the highest of levels. Anyone that knows anybody that has diabetes 1 and just how debilitating it can, we've got friends at home that have a son that has it, and it's incredibly sort of difficult for them to have to manage their food, what you cook them when they come around, constantly having to look at it and adjust. And he does, given how hard he works as well with his day, with the up and downs, it's pretty phenomenal, actually. It's a busy roof up above these players, and it's a busy day once again here on the second day of the United Cup in Sydney. He's a fun player to watch, Griekspoor. If you haven't watched him before, he'll take the ball on. He's certainly going to look to come in today against Zverev if he can find something a little bit short of a length.
Griekspoor doesn't lack for power on his serve or his ground strokes. What he isn't quite up to snuff compared to many of the players in the top 50 is his movement. He's very, very solid, as you can see there, coming to the net. His offense is excellent. His defense is where he can struggle, and that's why this matchup particularly works for him. Because when you're in ground stroke rallies with Sasha is not one of the more potent offensive players in groundy rallies. He's happy to just grind it out with you, and that doesn't force Griekspoor to play hard into the corners defensively. If he doesn't have to play defense, that's a good day for Tallon.
Full range of his talent on display in this particular service game, right from the opening point to this. That is textbook.
Oh my goodness, that is sublime. Griekspoor, did it go around the net? It may well have. It certainly was a laser.
Andrea, that looked pretty good from where we are. How was it for you?
Very good. It went straight past my eyesight, and I do think it went in between the chair umpire's chair and around the post, and then in front of my eyes. Let's take another look. Oh, you can see me there in the corner, but you shouldn't be looking at that.
Yeah.
Wow, what a rocket.
Jeez, that was incredible. That was below the height of the net as it whistled through. That was awesome. Andrea, of course, showcasing a feature all tennis players or former ones share, which is narcissism. She picked up herself in that camera. Well done.
I'm going to put that shot from Griekspoor in my dossier that I keep of round the net shots on the tennis tour, because look at this. I mean, this is just awesome. That's just one for the highlight reel at the end of the day, and I will never understand, and I will die on this hill, why the tour does not have singles nets for singles matches across the board throughout the season. Always putting double net. We've got sponsorship of the ATP on this particular net. So the argument that you have to have a doubles net to put the sponsorship on just seems so redundant to me. And also, it just makes it that much harder for a lot of players. Someone like Medvedev, who could be returning from the back here, can go round the net off the return. We've seen it. This is some excellent serving. We actually highlighted the lack of accuracy. I would imagine if we put up a full framer of his of his Bolt 6 serving, it would be excellent so far. Griekspoor looking to try and find a little length on that return. Unable to do so. Some pretty swift holds by both players out here at the moment. No cracks by either man, defending their serves beautifully. 3-2. Well, we can show you the Bolt 6 graphic. There it is, dialed up in real time. Right off the back of that, we showed you he was under 50% at the AO last year. He is within touching distance of 70% on that ad side. Yeah, and he's made 11 out of 14 for serve, so his serve percentage is excellent to go along with the accuracy. So after the love 30 start, a couple of loose ground strokes to start the match, the serve is really kicked into gear, and so has Sasha Zverev. Quick look above the Kimros. Andrea, quickly down to you. What's the mood like at home in Germany around Sasha?
Oh, it's a complication. Do you have 3.5 hours for
well,
me
we might do.
to present a TED Talk. Well, yeah, that's true. It is very complicated. It's a complicated relationship. They love him, but obviously having Boris Becker and Steffi Graf in the history of our sport, Germany expects that elusive, yet elusive for Alexander Zverev, major title. And he sometimes feels unfairly treated by the German media. I think at times rightfully so. I do think he gets more respect internationally rather than at home. But he still shows up for his country again and again, so it is a very complex back and forth.
Left for service.
Griekspoor's traveling with a mate here. He's not actually got a coach. He decided to actually do the Asian swing last year without a coach. Didn't really feel as though he'd necessarily moved on with his game, which was the underlying reason. So you can kind of understand it. After Mallorca, he then went just the 1 win and 8 losses. There was a 7-match losing streak in there for Griekspoor before he headed over to Asia.
Alex Zverev suffered from some back issues in the second half of the season in 2025, and those are no good. And with Zverev, we saw it manifest itself at Laver Cup in San Francisco with him being unable to arch his back on his serve and really get the kind of power that we're used to seeing from him. But he kept playing on. Griekspoor had to bail out of some matches and pull the pin, including when they were supposed to play these two in the quarterfinals of Vienna towards the tail end of the season. So for him, it's probably not been the smoothest off season, and maybe not able to do the type of work that he would normally like to do. Looks like he's going to get some work in here today. This one looks like it's going to be a taut affair.
Left for service.
Class, and he can be class. I know that season where he won 8 challenger titles, finished the season with 25 match wins. When he's locked in, Griekspoor, he is a nuisance to everybody out there, and he's got Sasha on the run. The halcyon days of Dutch tennis, Jim, seem to be behind them, doesn't it? I mean, when Griekspoor made the semis in Rotterdam, that was the first home player to make the semis of that particular tournament since sizzling back in 2014. Do you know what's happened particularly, or just one of those cyclical events?
Yeah, no, from my perch in the United States, I'm not quite up to speed on Dutch tennis. Shame on me. I'll do better. Andrea, you're a little closer to the fray in Germany. Maybe you have some insight for us.
There is a lot of rivalry between Netherlands and Germany, so we try to keep away as best as we can.
But it has been a little bit. I mean, you only need to go a little further north from the Netherlands to look up to Sweden, where obviously they were dominating the landscape for so many years before falling away. It's not easy to keep up the considerable success that some of these nations have had in the past. Likes of Krajicek and Haarhuis, Elting.
Yeah, go all the way back to Tom Akker.
Yep.
Fantastic player. And then when pro tennis was just beginning. Or the open era was beginning, I should say.
I think one of the things to look for Sasha on his second serve will be where he locates that. That was actually a rare serve that goes sort of wide on the ad side. so often it is just through the middle of the service box on both sides.
And that is a tough one, Jim, right? To try and chip that big serve of Alexander Zverev's in the middle. He was inside the baseline for this return, Griekspoor.
Yeah, it's like hitting a volley with a rocket coming at you. You really have to squeeze the grip on the racket as hard as you can for stability and hope that you can just use the pace coming your direction. Guesses wide on that serve. Zverev takes it up the tee and
15.
creates some space. 204K on that ace. Griekspoor much deeper here, Andre, on this return. Very deep.
Game, Team Germany. New balls, please.
Griekspoor almost confusing himself. He's wandering all
Team
over the
Germany
park here,
leads
trying
by
to find a
4
place to
games to
return
3.
this serve to get competitive. Yet to find it. 4-3.
Я понимаю, одно очко он подает хорошо, так легко очко задит, в принципе ты справа уже принимаешь, но больше мяч.
Plenty of activity out here at the Sydney Olympic Park, but of course a lot of activity around Sydney itself. Lots of cultural activities, street food enjoyed by family and friends. And so much to see, particularly the native animals that put a big smile on that young person's face. Koala. Beautiful country to visit, this part of the world, exceptionally beautiful. So many little nooks and crannies where you can go to the coast, get on the water. Lovely coastal walks as well, as we reside here for the foreseeable future. And these two look as though they're going to reside here for the foreseeable future on the court here. Nothing giving so far.
Yeah, it's moving pretty quickly. Only 24 minutes of play for the first 7 games. So new balls in play now for Griekspoor to enjoy. Neither player has been able to generate a break point, so going pretty nicely for the server thus far. Both players making a high percentage of first serves. Griekspoor actually out serving Zverev slightly, making slightly more than the German, and that is not easy to do, as we've illustrated. Griekspoor's ball toss is as high as Zverev's used to be before he made the change to shorten it at his brother's beckoning. Misha said, let's tighten that service toss up and get a little more rhythm. Griekspoor's goes way up and then comes down. But in these enclosed conditions, he's able to manage it pretty nicely.
Ball. 40-15. Jim, did you ever spend time without a coach on the tour?
No. You?
Yeah, partly financial. Andrea?
In the beginning stages of my career, I did, yeah. But my dad is my coach, so I always had him to call. So technically, no.
I'm going to ask the question because Griekspoor at time can be a little volatile. And when we saw that in Indian Wells, when he actually got the win over Zverev, he was pretty calm up until the fact that he served for the match and then had 5 match points and then obviously just completely went nuclear at his team. I do wonder whether maybe over the course of 6 months, him having to take responsibility for himself out there consistently will be a really positive thing for him rather than having somebody that maybe is sitting there to absorb his stress.
4 games all.
Yeah, it's certainly different to take responsibility for organizing your own practices, setting up the practice courts. There are a lot of details that are involved that a coaching staff will manage for the players, kind of grease the wheels, if you will. But there's something to be said for having all of that on your shoulders and feeling like, okay, this is my company, and I'm running every aspect of it, and it might just help you grow up a little bit if you need to. Not saying that Tallon does, but a lot of tennis players do, that's for sure.
So wild to me that he runs that way to hit the backhand. I know it is his more secure shot, but it's not as though his forehand is so fallible that he needs to do that off what was a fairly standard return.
Left for service.
I find Griekspoor's technique on return really fascinating. It's one of the more static, still starting positions. Most players are in motion, swaying back and forth and trying to get in rhythm for when they're going to hit their split step. He pretty much sets himself and waits until contact, and then his feet start to move a little, and then he hits the jump and moves. But most players have a lot more motion at that particular time. And I wonder if it hurts his reaction time. It might not, but it's just so different, isn't it, Andrea?
It is very different. You could see there, if we have a slow motion of it, he actually went backwards on that return. So he's splitting backwards, which doesn't help. And the numbers for his returns are underlying your point, Jim. He is not good in first serve returns at all. Actually, the lowest in the top 50.
Yeah, let's just have a quick pile on Griekspoor's return. No, because we've got a graphic.
I find it really fascinating, though, that his heels are on the ground for much of the motion of Zverev. But yes, he's 49th out of the top 50 as far as returning on a hard court last season. So there's certainly room for improvement.
I agree. I was actually going to ask you that question. I agree. He almost just goes straight up.
Look at the heels touching the ground. Most players are on their toes ready to pounce. He's not. It may just be an aesthetic thing, but it'd be something I would look at if I were on his team. But he is his team.
He is his team, and he is in charge of everything that's going on, apart from the fact that he can't disrupt Zverev's rhythm on serve. It's 5-4. Yeah, you'll have to see that. Griekspoor trying to dig into some of the data there in terms of, I'm sure that's probably for the 11th game, which he hopes is coming up if he hangs on to his own serve, trying to figure out a way to get competitive. Certainly something that's changed over the course of the last couple of years with coaching being allowed, that you can sit there with a data person behind you who's actually just running the numbers and giving you a little bit of a heads up. Smiles all round here in Australia after what was a late night for Team Australia, but they came back after Alexander Zverev lost to Casper Ruud. Hunter had gone 1-0 up for Australia in her singles, and then combined with John Patrick Smith in the mix to get the victory in a match tiebreaker. So good start for the home nation, and this has been a solid start for both Zverev and Griekspoor. He's been mixing up his serve if you look at the data on the first point of the game when he's been serving, so nothing really for Zverev to get his teeth into, although I got the sense with his dad, he was talking that he was getting hurt on the one out wide. Will he drift over that way, see if he can pinch the opening point?
15 love.
I don't think he could have returned that even if he'd have started running before the ball was struck. What a serve.
And that is such an interesting point you're making, Mark. I watched an entire practice session of Griekspoor, and that's his favorite and best serve, and he couldn't make one in practice, and today he's been just nailing them over and over again.
Interesting to see where Sasha lands for his +4 shot off the second serve return. Again, he's somebody that just builds pressure consistently, loads of returns, keeps making you feel as though you've got to work. Hasn't been able to do that so far with Griekspoor, but there was definitely a bit more of a dynamic step after that forehand return.
-15. Left for service. -15.
Sasha's feeling what it likes to play himself with the level of serving that Griekspoor is throwing down at him, missing so few first serves and hitting his spots probably better than Sasha usually does. Excellent from the Dutchman so far. Goodness, how do you say brick in Dutch, Andrea? Do you know?
40-30.
Brikkel.
Yeah, that's what that was. Wow, that was... didn't make it to the net, did it? That's a clunker. Well, you know what? Pros are just like us. We can do it too.
Game Team Netherlands.
Continues his perfect record when he's landed a first serve. He is a perfect 18 out of 18, Griekspoor, to this stage of the opening set.
Love.
30 love.
Griekspoor with a bit of a gamble to come in, but it paid off.
Oh, we told you that he's got good technique at the net. How about delivering 8 out of 8 points, 1 when he comes to the net. He's been perfect up there. Good reactions and a good angle on that last little forehand cutter.
It's been quick, but perhaps the most impressive part of it from Zverev's perspective is he's kept the pace, but he's had much better accuracy than we've seen in previous seasons.
Game, Team Germany.
Once again, neither player really able to make any kind of dent in their opponent's serve, and it is Zverev who's assured himself of a breaker in this opening set, 6-5. Kind of moments is actually just an action. You've just got to keep waiting and just making sure that you stay tidy on your own service games and not open the door for any kind of potential disaster, and that's something that Sasha's done exceptionally well. Do you think it's getting to the stage though where maybe he just needs to take a bit of a gamble on this first point and try and sit on a return and make something happen? The Mercury's been turned up today here in Sydney. Good use of those water fans, and there are plenty of fans streaming into the Sydney Olympic Park, enjoying themselves, just as the big first serves have been streaming down inside the arena. Sasha's serve in particular has been super impressive. 9 aces already in this opening set. Last year on the hard courts, he averaged just under 8 aces a match on this particular surface, so already we're seeing some improvements in that part of his game. And it will certainly make his progress through draws a lot easier if he can get that many more free points.
So another first serve made. Zverev was there for the return and gets to love 15. Both players looking for the first break points of the match. Where should Zverev be looking? Well, I think out wide, certainly, in the ad court makes sense. 75% of Griekspoor's first serves have landed there. But this is valuable now. Love 15, a second serve. This is a challenge for Griekspoor. Stressful for sure. An opportunity for the German.
And isn't it funny how a tennis player's mind functions? Griekspoor has made every first point on his serve on that wide serve, and now at 5-6 down, he decides to go down the tee and loses the point.
So good. It was a bad approach into the forehand of Zverev. He loves that, to be able to dip it at your toes, but with consummate ease, he just caresses that past Griekspoor. And out of nowhere, triple break point that, of course, set points. Waited for his opportunity, and he has taken it. Griekspoor eventually giving it with the forehand miss, but got his teeth into a returning game for the first time, and he makes it pay. And Germany on top once again, as they were in the first singles of the day. Most of the highlights will be about ball tosses and great serves inside the service box. Well, there were some nice moves up at the net from both players, particularly Griekspoor when he got the opportunity. That was the moment of the match, though, round the net. He absolutely loved that two-hander. And then this was the gamble that he got away with. And that was the moment of triumph. Credit to Zverev for just being in the right place mentally to be able to take the opportunity when it presented himself in that 12th game of the opening set. The roll call, as we've been talking about, has been very serve dominated out there.
Zverev also had 16 winners and just 4 unforced errors, so he was very tidy and opportunistic when Griekspoor gave him 2 forehand unforced errors in that last game. That was sloppy from the Dutchman there, but Zverev was ready to take it he did.
Conversations in the Team Germany camp. Everyone seemingly pretty happy with how things are proceeding out here. When the moment arrives, Zverev was good enough to take it. The big stumbling block for him, Jim, in terms of what he wants to do, which is, of course, win a Grand Slam. Just the one win out of 15 meetings with a top 5 player at the majors. Alcaraz, of course, at the Australian Open, that one, but that's been kind of his Achilles heel, his kryptonite.
Yeah, that's not a commentary on his ability to play long matches. He has great endurance. It's just more the battle within, which some athletes don't have problems with, and perhaps if Zverev was able to convert his opportunities in the US Open final years ago in 2020, when Dominic Thiem clipped him at the end, if he'd have won that one, who knows? It might have relaxed him and allowed him to break free and win a few more, but right now that is a big obstacle that he's all too well aware of. Madison Keys, a great example of what might lie ahead for him, though, if he just keeps at it.
As you say, you know, he likes to play long matches, but obviously that record, 1-14 in best of 5, isn't great, but best of 3 against top 5 players, he's not bad. Yes, he's still in negative territory, but 26 wins and just the 35 losses. I love that pace of serve for him on that serve out wide. You look at the great servers, Novak, you look at Roger serving. I mean, so disciplined in not over hitting that serve on the deuce side.
Look,
40-15.
15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15
first game, second set.
One of the things I do like about Sasha is his willingness to change ends right after the opening game. Whether he's served or he's returned, he does not head over to the change of ends area, whether that's at the end of the court as they are here at United Cup or next to the umpire's chair.
That really is your pet peeve, Mark. Why is that? When players go after the first game, when they go to their bench.
I just think, well, why did we bother getting rid of the changeover? Because it kind of happens vertically rather than when almost horizontally. That's all.
That's not his only pet peeve. we got a long year ahead of us, Andrea, as you know. He'll get them all out eventually.
Yeah, 365 days of pet. Hey, he's British after all.
That is right.
They repress their feelings.
Love 15.
He was marching alongside Zverev for that opening set till the tail end of it. Needs to grab a hold of something here. This match slipping away from him if he loses serve here. Love 15. Just a little off kilter in the last 10 minutes.
Senses weakness down the other end, he is not going to miss.
13.
Well, apart from the opening couple of points of the match when Zverev missed pretty badly with some ground strokes by meters, he's really been very precise with the ground strokes ever since. Second serve coming here. This is opportunity knocking for Team Germany. There was certainly space in the open court,
15,
but
13.
Andrea, was that ball going in or was that flying out?
I think it was flying out, and that hence the reaction of Zverev. It was a much more difficult volley than it looked like on screen. In real life, you could see how fast it went at him, but I do think he believes it was going out because it does look from here. Did look from here like it was going out.
Wow, nice loose.
15,
Bit of
14.
self-inflicted pressure this for Griekspoor. It looks as though he hasn't been able to shrug off the disappointment of what happened at the back end of the opening set. And here is Zverev ready to pounce. Tragic miss. And given the way that Zverev served, it is difficult to see even at the early stage of this second set how Griekspoor gets back into this. He's going to need a helping hand.
Yeah, he does like to serve and volley, but that volley was just nowhere near the energy required for any moment, let alone a break point. Just very sloppy, and with it goes the break.
Love 15.
Sasha's so good when he was so young. He had 3 consecutive top 10 year-end finishes before he was 23, and that put him in some pretty illustrious company as well. Only 13 other players have been able to do that at that stage back in 2019. Of course, Alcaraz has added to that particular list. And every single
15
one of those 13 other players has won a major.
Ooh. Oh my goodness, lost it up in the lattice work. Zverev unable to find the center of the strings after playing a brilliant point. Set it all up so beautifully,
15,
but
13.
the bird cage above him just prevented him from getting good vision on this. Normally pretty reliable on the overhead, but it's intricate hardware that holds the roof, the canopy here.
This is impressive. Zverev looking at 67% of his first serves that he hasn't had to go to work to afterwards.
Yeah, when he's making about 80% of his first serves, that's a pretty cushiony service game situation for him.
Numbers
not having to grind at all.
Yeah, the numbers from the AO last year, even though he made it through to the final, had a hugely successful fortnight down there, or sat around about the 40% mark. So it's a lot less work that he's having to put in. Could be the difference.
Well, Griekspoor takes advantage of a second serve and volley from the big German, and a awkward looking backhand volley finds the net, and Griekspoor finds himself at break point. Chance to get back in this.
It's dropped in. Griekspoor can't believe it.
Yes.
What a rally. Terrific backhand from Zverev to give himself a shot. And then the slice was floated to perfection. Interesting, isn't it? First bit of pressure that he's had on his serve, and the accuracy's gone.
Netherlands.
Got away with the break point, but the first serve was nothing like we've really seen so far. That one was middle of the box. Wasn't really even a body serve.
Deuce.
Might well escape here, has a chance too from this challenging service game. And one of the challenges for Sasha is that he's been trying to play more offensively consistently, especially off the forehand wing. He knows he needs to do that to really elevate his game, and he can do it for long stretches in matches. But in critical moments, his tendency is to pull back and play more conservatively, and that costs him often. Might not cost him in this game, but we've seen a little bit of that. And if there's one thing that I wish the tennis gods could give Sasha, it would be the ability to just play the same no matter what the score is, because he's not been able to do that in some critical matches in his career, and that's cost him.
He does survive, as Jim says, and a nice scramble to safety, and he'll be a relieved man as he walks down the other end of the court, leading by a set and 3-love. It doesn't get easier, Andrea, as you get older as well, to kind of put some of those ghosts of the past behind you, does it, in those big moments that Jim's just talking about?
It really doesn't, but Jim also mentioned Madison Keys, who had sort of the same issues, getting really close in the latter stages of major tournaments and then just tensing up. And for Madison Keys, in a way, it was even worse because of the way she plays Sasha, and that's so bad. That's, I think, the tough part for him. He still makes balls. He just gets beat because he pulls back. So to find that edge in his game in those moments is going to be the big ask and challenge of his life, of his tennis life at least. And I hope he finds it. I think he deserves it. He's a workhorse and he wants nothing more.
Still the weekend here in Sydney as everyone starts to gather their thoughts, thinking about a work week potentially, but the kids still off on the holidays here in Australia as the tennis players go back to work in the opening week of the 2026 season. Jim, what did you make of the change of racket on the attempt by Sasha last year to go to a slightly thicker frame to try and find a bit more pace?
Look, I think it was kind of on brand for what many of the players in his generation were trying. We saw Stefanos Tsitsipas make the change. We saw Sasha Bublik very successfully make a change to a more powerful racket and immediately get the benefits. And I think Zverev has been pretty candid and vocal about his displeasure with the quality of the tennis ball since COVID. Feeling like the tennis ball just simply isn't being manufactured with the same quality materials it was pre-COVID, and therefore the balls are getting worn out more quickly during the sequence when they're in play, and it's becoming more difficult to create power. A lot of players, not just Sasha, have talked about that, so I understood the logic behind it. Didn't quite work out for him, though. I went back to Old Faithful. What did you make of it?
I think it's a positive. I think it takes one thing out of your mind is, should I change? Is this the key that's going to unlock the door that I want for the treasure that's on the other side? And I think sometimes it's better to have tried it and have failed and at least been able to park that thought in the bigger moments to say, well, it's actually not my racket. And, you know, I think it's very easy to feel as though there's a quick win with a different model, and actually oh, this is good. And actually, you're masking there's a deeper problem somewhere else. But right now, he is motoring very smoothly through the gears here, Zverev.
Griekspoor opted away from the tweener, which it looked like he was going to initially try, and threw up the lob, hoping Zverev would have trouble locating it again up in the ceiling. But no problems for the German. Big problems for Tallon.
Game, Team Germany. New balls, please.
That was great tennis from Zverev. Maybe the opening break in this second set
Team
was down
Germany
to a
leads
little
by
bit of
4 games to
Griekspoor's
love.
indifferent play, but that was world class from Sasha. I think Andrea's gone home. I mean, in the German dugout.
Look somewhere?
I am home. I am here home with my German team. Unfortunately, I am more of a hindrance than an addition right now. But you are an addition, having cooled off a little bit, Eva Lies. How did you feel about your game today?
I'm very happy with the way I played. I mean, I was a little bit nervous. First time United Cup, playing for the country. I think you know it. But I'm very happy with how I played, and I'm really happy that I won. Definitely didn't feel like a 2-2. I was running a marathon.
1 hour 40.
I know. I was running a marathon, so I did a cool off or cool down, and now I'm supporting my teammate.
You told me that you worked on your fitness. Did you feel a benefit from your work in the off season today and those long rallies?
Definitely. I do often struggle with first matches because the first match basically shows you how fit you are, because it doesn't matter how much you practice, match is different. And I'm very happy because I could have gone even an hour further, and that made me really happy.
And lastly, Sasha Zverev, you've been watching your teammate. What did you think of his game so far?
I feel like his serve is almost as good as mine.
Yes. Nearly.
Especially today. So, no, he's doing pretty amazing. I know he doesn't have an easy opponent, but I think it's always nice to go into the game knowing we already have a little lead. But listen, every time I watch Sasha, I'm really impressed. He's amazing. He's an amazing tennis player. And, yeah, maybe I can learn a few things from my game.
Well, we hope so. Thank you, Eva.
Eva Lies, winner today against Susan Lemons. She's a great personality out there on the WTA tour.
It's kind of annoying that both Andrea and Eva speak better English than we do.
Correct. I was hoping you weren't going to notice.
I had a chance to talk to Eva's 10-year-old sister, Bella, who was here. She, too, speaks better English than we do. Low bar, granted, but still impressive. 4 languages at the age of 10. Yeah, incredible. And a burgeoning tennis player as well.
Game, Team Germany. Team Germany leads
The
by
serve
5 games to
has
love.
been absolutely immaculate and potentially a flawless set here for Zverev. 5-love. Interesting book why Michael Jordan couldn't hit, actually, about learning languages, Jim. It was basically digging in with a neurologist about how your brain works, and that he basically said our entire education system is set up the wrong way. We a lot of the time learn languages sort of early on in our teenage years rather than really from birth, because that's when we pick up from the environment that we're in, and that it should be that you actually learn languages as a kid right from the back. And so when you say she's 10, there'll be somebody out there saying, well, that's absolutely the right way to learn, rather than trying to do it later in life. Hopes and dreams, they're soaring at the start of a new season for all players. This has been super impressive for Zverev. He was tested just to wait for his opportunity in the opening set. Once he got that under his belt, he has not looked back as we look out at the courts, the activations that Tennis Australia put on to make sure that they get more kids and more people into this wonderful sport.
Love 15.
As Jim's been saying, it's so important for Sasha to play like that in the big moments, not to lose his identity under pressure. He's going to have to play like that once he plays the likes of Sinner and Alcaraz. Because it's there.
Love 30.
Might be a little bit of a dead cat bounce for Griekspoor, but excellent defense and a wonderful passing shot.
15-30.
Good squash shot forehand there, and then ropes this backhand.
Seriously impressive swing through the tape here from Zverev in this second set.
Broke serve at the tail end of the first set and seems to have broken the spirit of Griekspoor as well.
Let for service. Game 7 match, Team Germany.
And he breaks in for a fourth consecutive time in the match to run away with a 6-love set in the second. A man that he's had some huge battles with and losses in the past. But today it is Zverev who eclipses Griekspoor comfortably, and that was excellent.
Good sportsmanship from both players after a really nice level, consistent level from Sasha Zverev. Just the one game where he was challenged. The third game of the second set, had to save 2 break points, did so, and puts Germany in an unassailable position in this contest. There will be mixed doubles that could be consequential to follow. Every match can be important. If you don't sweep your group, you need to finish with the best record of the second place team, so they'll still put a lot of emphasis on that, but that's a job well done by their team leader.
Yeah, been an excellent morning and briefly afternoon's work for Team Germany. And Andrea Petkovic, well, they were thinking about having a little hugged out. They did. They eventually did. Andrea is with Sasha. They're both in a good mood.
Sasha, what a great performance from you, getting Germany the win. What did you think of your game today?
Yeah, I mean, first set was tough to get a rhythm. I think both of us were serving extremely well, but once I got the chances, you know, I did well, and very happy with the win. Very happy that Germany won, but we still have a very important mixed doubles to play, so hopefully we can get the win there, and yeah, I'm going to get ready.
Well, it's every point counts here at United Cup. What were you happiest with your game here, your first match in the new season after a good preseason?
Yeah, I think my serve was all right, to be honest.
You think?
Yeah. Everything else was difficult to judge because there was not many long rallies. There wasn't really much rhythm, but a win is a win, and I'm happy about it.
And lastly, before I let you go, Australia has been a great country for you. You have so much success. What makes you play so well here?
Well, I feel like the people welcome everybody like it's their home. So it's amazing to be here. I always feel like this is the best way possible to start the year in Australia. I love the country, I love the people, I just love being here. So it's always very, very special. This is probably the trip that everybody's the most excited for the entire year, and yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
I think they are happy to see you here. Good luck in the mixed doubles. Sasha Zverev.
Like I said, weren't too many longer rallies out there, but it was pretty vodka clear that he's been working hard on his accuracy, on his serve. We're going to see whether that stands up as we go through the wonderful Australian summer of tennis. But it has certainly been a very promising start for Team Germany and for Sasha Zverev. He uncorked 14 aces in that particular match. That is double his normal average on a hard court. And it releases him as well, Jim, in terms of his ability to be a little bit more aggressive and adventurous from the back of the court.
That's exactly right. And the second set, obviously, he wasn't under a lot of pressure, but for the one game where he had to break points. But he played a very tidy ground stroke contest here. Very few unforced errors, and held the baseline, was rock solid. And that's the kind of start you want. You're tested a little bit, but physically, it didn't take a lot out of him and puts him in a good place for what's to come here in 2026. The first serve percentage, as ever, so good, 75%, even higher than his normal in the the 72.5 range, and winning nearly 90% of those first serve points in with the better accuracy that you highlighted. And that many aces is not normal for him.
No, it certainly isn't. And not only did he break him 4 times, but you got the sense that he broke Griekspoor's resolve, and that will please him endlessly. It looks as though he may well be coming out here to have a game of mixed doubles as well, Zverev. He is, as Jim was saying in commentary, a workhorse.
They have Kevin Kravitz, who's a high caliber doubles player available for them should they need him. But Sasha is the team leader, and if he chooses to play, I think they'll put him in. His dad's probably not going to override that decision. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. Your greatest ally at times in all sports is hope. It doesn't always win you matches like this straight away, but it does sustain you. And his hope that he can join some of those maiden Grand Slam winners past the age of 28 is still very much alive. And on the evidence of what we've just witnessed over the last hour and a half or so, things are looking very good for Sasha at the start of 2026. Team Germany go up 2-0.